From a strange metal monolith just discovered in Turkey to the body of a dead alien, here are 10 of the weirdest things that have been found in the middle of nowhere. Number 10. Rocks from outer space. A woman named Elizabeth Heiser was working in her backyard when she made the discovery of the century. She'd been going about her business removing some bushes from her property when she stumbled upon a rock in a perfect spherical shape. This happened in a rural neighborhood in Columbus, Ohio, basically in the middle of nowhere, and the rock that Elizabeth found very well could have come from outer space. According to an interview with Elizabeth, she claimed that she first thought the object was a cannonball. That's how perfectly round the rock was. However, it turned out that the rock wasn't a cannonball at all, and it may not have even been from outer space. An expert came forward to say that the grapefruit-sized sphere was something called a concretion, millions of years old and one of many all throughout Ohio. According to a geologist with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, these types of concretions can be found in many parts of Ohio, particularly near rivers and creeks. But how does this alien-like object form? Apparently, it all starts with the bones of a prehistoric monster. When something like a dinosaur dies and a piece of its bones sinks into the mud of the ocean floor, bacteria and other microorganisms begin to break down the organic matter, and this changes the chemistry around the bone. The changes in the chemical composition creates a sort of bubble, and this bubble allows other minerals to settle. Over time, this creates a massive concretion that is a perfect sphere, and that often looks like a rock hurled to Earth from outer space. Number 9. Ancient astronomical site. Nabta Playa is the oldest astronomical site in the entire world, and it was found in literally the middle of nowhere in a desert in the south of Egypt, nowhere close to any other of the amazing archaeological sites in the country. It was originally discovered in the 1960s while Egypt was planning a large dam project along the Nile River. UNESCO was horrified because the plan for the dam would have flooded very important archaeological sites. They stepped in with funding to help prevent sites from being lost forever, and while this was happening, Nabta Playa was discovered by an American archaeologist by the name of Fred Windorf. While everyone else was looking at the temples near the river, Fred went out into the desert where finally in 1973 he came upon Nabta Playa. Here's why this site is so insanely interesting. It's far older than Stonehenge, predating the famous English stone circle by at least 2,000 years. It's the oldest confirmed stone circle in the world, and the oldest astronomical observatory anywhere on the planet. Most scientists agree it was constructed by a cult of nomadic people who worshipped cattle, and they used the stone markers to watch for the summer solstice and the onset of the monsoon season. According to J. McKim Malville from the University of Colorado, this astronomical site was the first attempt ever made by human beings to connect with the heavens. Perhaps they even started the field of astrology in their quest for spiritual connection with the constellations above. Do you believe in astrology? Many people find that it helps them make sense of their lives and their relationships, but others dismiss it as a big fairy tale. Tell me your opinion about it in the comments below. Then, if you haven't subscribed to American Eye yet, remember to do that right away so you can stay up to date with even more of these crazy videos. Number 8. Mysterious stairs in the woods. There's a very strange phenomenon going on in the world today where people are finding mysterious stairs in the middle of nowhere, often in some of the most isolated forests in the world. While not all of these claims are 100% substantiated, it's pretty well agreed at this point that something strange is going on. For example, a very real staircase was discovered in Cambodia near Angkor Wat, stretching 2,000 feet, 600 meters up a mountain in the middle of nowhere to absolutely nothing. And experts don't know who built it or why. But the stairs in Cambodia are ancient news. There have been even stranger discoveries recently, such as the vanishing stairs from the 1940s. The bizarre story goes back to the Roswell crash, with various people reporting seeing a strange staircase in the middle of the forest near their camping site in an undisclosed location in the United States, which was emitting a very strange noise. But in the morning, many of these campers claimed that the stairs had gone away and couldn't be found again. There are actually countless stories of strange stairs being found in the middle of nowhere, and all of them are just as unbelievable, yet potentially true. Number 7. Plane hiding in the forest. Google Earth has recently helped curious adventurers to find a random airplane sitting in the middle of absolutely nowhere somewhere near Portland. The amazing thing about this story is that the airplane was apparently purchased by a man named Bruce Campbell for around $100,000 because he loved airplanes so much that he wanted one on his property. Amazingly, he bought himself the Boeing 727 and then stuck it in his garden and decided to live inside of it. But here's the strange part with Google Earth. Apparently, as of 2019, at least 174 people have found the airplane on Google Maps, traveled to the location to see it, then left a review of the place. Bizarre, but true. Campbell has mixed feelings about the visitors, seeing as it is his house after all. But there's not much that he can do to stop people from trying to find the random airplane sitting in the middle of the woods, clear as day on Google Earth, even if it is his house. Number 6. Whales in the Sahara. The last place anyone expects to find a whale graveyard is in the Sahara Desert, and yet that's exactly where a collection of whale skeletons was discovered back in 1902. This is definitely not a famous location on anyone's tourist itinerary while visiting Egypt, and yet it's a very cool spot. It's been nicknamed the Valley of the Whales, and it was turned into a conservation area sometime in the 1980s and is currently a UNESCO heritage site. About 50 million years ago, this part of the Sahara Desert was actually the floor of the ocean, meaning there are all kinds of unique fossils still buried in the sand that archaeologists and paleologists have not discovered yet. It was a miracle that they managed to find the bones of these whales at all, and some people even say this is the most remarkable paleontological site on the planet. The ancient ocean was called the Tethys Sea, and it was a massive body of water located between Africa and Asia, before India collided with Asia from the south, and even before the Himalayas had risen up from the ground. Of course, the whales that were discovered in the desert have been extinct for quite a long time. But archaeologists who were able to study their remains claim that they found evidence that the whales evolved from a land-based creature with legs, which explains why the remains were found with phantom hip bones, a leftover piece of anatomy from when whales wandered around on 4 legs. Number 5. Dino print. An unexpected paleontologist recently discovered a footprint that was made by a dinosaur 220 million years ago. This paleontologist was only 4 years old. She wasn't even looking for dinosaur remnants while strolling along a rural beach in Wales with her father and pet dog, and yet she must have had amazing eyes because she found an extremely well-preserved dinosaur footprint that is now making a splash in the world of paleontology. Even though it's impossible for professionals to identify the exact type of dinosaur which left the roughly 4-inch long, 10-centimeter footprint, Cindy Howells, who works as a paleontology curator in Wales, told NBC News that the footprint was probably made by a dinosaur that stood 30 inches tall and 8 feet long, from nose to tail. Basically, this little girl stumbled upon a kind of miniature T-Rex footprint made by a slender animal that walked on 2 feet and hunted small critters and insects. Cindy Howells also said that there are probably a lot of other fossilized bones and footprints spread throughout Wales, but that they're so hard to spot that not many people have a chance of locating one. Number 4. Interplanetary runway. According to Alaska Highway News, archaeologists have recently uncovered a UFO believed to be 20,000 years old in the middle of nowhere. This allegedly happened in the Peace River Valley, and some are claiming it's proof that Alaska was once used as an interplanetary runway. Of course, this story's not been verified by mainstream news sources, but that doesn't mean it's not real. The crashed UFO was apparently found by archaeologists who'd been working in the forest, studying the area before logging contractors moved in to begin work. Team leader Levi Lazarus said that the laboratory confirmed the age of the wreckage, but would not go on to state how the spacecraft crash landed or if there were any bodies inside of the vehicle. Of course, all of this was apparently said on April 1st, 2017, so I'll let you decide what to make of it. Number 3. The monolith in Turkey. By now, most of you have probably heard of the Utah monument that showed up out of nowhere and just as swiftly vanished. And if you've been following this story, you know that there are other monoliths still appearing all over the world. Well, guess what? The newest unidentified metal monument was just found in Turkey in February of 2021. It looked quite similar to the ones found in the Utah desert, California, and in Romania. As of right now, nobody's really sure who's responsible for placing the monolith seemingly in the middle of nowhere in a rural province in the southeast of Turkey, right at the edge of a farmer's field. It could be the military, the government, the people in the nearest village, or just some ordinary civilians. On the other hand, it could also be aliens going about some kind of strange ritual in which they place metal monoliths in random places across the globe for reasons we can't possibly fathom. Number 2. Submarine in the jungle. A submarine has just been found inside of a wet mangrove forest near the Pacific coast of Colombia, and apparently it was responsible for smuggling millions of dollars of cocaine into the United States of America. It's the most beaten-up submarine you've ever seen, and according to popular mechanics, the region in which the submarine was found has been used by drug smugglers for at least 25 years for their manufacturing and transport operations. The submarine was discovered by the Colombian military, and apparently it wasn't the only one that the drug smugglers were using. They sometimes constructed submarines up to 100 feet, 30 meters long, made from everything from wood to fiberglass to Kevlar, able to transport about 8 tons of cargo between South America and the United States without ever being detected by radar. To put that in money terms, it's about $200 million per trip. So what was in the submarine? It was air-conditioned, there was a sleeping quarter, they had snorkels on board in case they needed to make a quick getaway, and it even had a lead-lined heat shield to avoid appearing on thermal scans. Number 1. A dead alien. A viral video depicting a dead alien supposedly discovered in the middle of Siberia, lost in the permafrost, has been making its rounds on social media. The dead alien was allegedly found by 2 Russian men near a tree stump in the snowy fields outside of Irkutsk. The alien appears to be around 3 feet tall, 1 meter in the video, with gray skin, long limbs, and an oversized head. Of course, conspiracy theorists were quick to jump on the bandwagon and claim the dead alien as real proof that extraterrestrials have been visiting our planet, but others claim it's just a hoax. After all, the alien does look like a cliché little gray man you see in movies. According to Live Science, the alien body was fake. But the hard truth about this is that they don't actually know. Nobody went out and investigated the dead body of the alien. For all we know, the Russian guys took it home and turned it into a taxidermy ET. Or the government got involved and confiscated the corpse. There's just no way to be sure, making this dead alien yet another dead end in the search for extraterrestrial life. What's the weirdest thing you've ever found in the middle of nowhere? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe for all the latest discoveries and coolest videos right here on American Eye.